Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Victor Vanico Johnson here with Laquita Monley for Create Your Future Self Live. It is Monday. We are back from probably an extended holiday weekend. A lot of people had. Hopefully everybody's safe, healthy, enjoyed themselves, and they're back in the saddle. We are excited to join you guys today. It's the last day of November 2020, and we are getting ready to talk about some very exciting things going on towards the end of the year. We brought a guest in, but before we do that, myself, I am Victor Vanico Johnson. I'm an author, speaker, and a credit consultant. I like to help people overcome any credit hurdles and, of course, get into real estate investing to build that generational wealth. And, of course, I've got my co-hostess over here, Laquita Monley. How you doing, ma'am?
I am doing well, Vic. I am doing well. I cannot complain at all. Thank you for the lovely introduction. As Vic said, I am Laquita Monley. I am the military spouse that provides work from home opportunities for other military spouses as well as civilians. And I am also a real estate investor. Yes, we buy houses. You have an ugly house, a stinky house, a house you don't want. We buy houses. So connect with us at M5. You can see that on my Facebook page. If you're already connected to my Facebook page, you'll find the link out to our website for both the Monley Innovations as well as M5. And it is super, super, super exciting to be here today.
Absolutely. Well, I love joining you every Monday doing these shows. We have some great conversations. And of course, we always have some great guests. And before I even introduce our guest today, if you're out there, please join, like, share, comment, bring some other folks in, start a watch party. We're going to have some really good conversation today, some things that I'm positive will help you or one of your loved ones. So without further ado, I want to introduce our guest for today, Mr. Karl Berry. Before I even say I already said his name, but Mr. Berry is with Community Care Resource Council. He's been an all-American athlete, even though he said he forgot about all that. National Honor Society. He's definitely actively involved with social awareness, mental health, so many more things that we're going to talk about today. Mr. Berry, how you doing, sir?
I'm blessed, highly favored, just a little bit fat and sassy.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you here with your fat and sassiness, sir. Thank you so much.
Glad to be here. Honored.
Tell the folks a little bit about where you're from, just a little bit about yourself, and then we'll dig into a little bit more.
Oh, well, I hail originally from Kansas City. That's where I was an All-American athlete. I was a professional musician. I had an advertising agency at 19 years old. I managed 6 nightclubs. I had all of the dancers, all of the actors, all of the musicians, and all of the nightclubs under contract.
Wow.
And that kind of started off my life in business. I have been a mid-level manager with the telephone company. I've been in the real estate business 18 of the last 20 years. And in between those, I've tried my hands at a number of things, and I've had a multiple number of lives in one life, and I'm just grateful and blessed for that.
Absolutely, man. So, okay, because I know people from Kansas City. My mom lives in Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas City, Kansas.
Kansas City, Kansas. But in some places, it's a street or a river that divides them.
That's right, absolutely.
My mother lived in Missouri.
Wow. That's awesome, man. Well, thank you for joining us today. We want to dig into quite a few things that you are an expertise in. I want you to tell us a little bit about Community Care Resource Council. You and I met through Mr. Brandon Powell and, of course, through our LinkedIn community. And, one of the things that I was really intrigued about with your program is that you kind of look at yourself as a connector for other people to get the services and things they need. So I know that Community Care Resource Council is your baby. Tell us a little bit about your program and the company and how you guys help people.
Well, Community Care Resource Council is just that. It's a council. A council is a collection of individuals that have expertise in varied amount of areas. And what I did was, after the call to go into the community and serve others, I decided to move towards the resources that people need. Too often in our communities, driven by grant monies, a lot of the times the government wants you to stay focused on one thing so you don't get sidetracked. But too often in today's world, everything overlaps. If you want to talk about mental health, if you want to talk about substance abuse, if you want to talk about oppressed children, all three of those all interact with each other. And so what I decided to do was to start an organization that helped people. Somebody gave me a word called convener. I swore they didn't know what they're talking about. I went and got my dictionary on my phone, and sure enough, it was. I convene resources. So all I do is I get in the middle and I help people find help. I work alongside of city, state, and federal government with a special relationship with the Department of Health and Human Services. I also work with all faith, regardless of religion. I have my own religion, but if I don't live my religion that welcomes your religion, how am I going to win you to my religion? That's kind of my philosophy. And then lastly, I work with healthcare with a particular emphasis on behavioral health, mental health, substance misuse, and a plethora of others. So I'm a helper. All I do is get in the middle. I say, Laquita, this is Nico. Hope y'all enjoy each other. You're great people. See you later. And that's what I do.
Wow.
Connector.
Yeah, a connector. That's pretty awesome, because oftentimes, from depending on what the person is looking for, it's not that they don't want to get the help. They don't have the right connections or the right network in order to place them in front of the people and or organizations that can provide the help to them. And that you guys are able to work in so many different areas. And that's absolutely amazing, because you're right. Most government agencies want you to have one focus and one focus only.
But you're absolutely right, Monley, because what you'll find out is most people are actually looking for each other. People are looking for the organization, and the organization is looking for clients.
Yeah.
Wow, that is interesting. So I want to kind of sit here for a minute, because it is a holiday season, and unfortunately for some, it's not a pleasant time. It's not a time that people look forward to. It's not a time that they're excited about getting together, and in many cases they may find themselves alone, and really it can be more of a depressing time. Can you talk a little bit about that? I know that's part of your expertise, to kind of help your organization connects people that might be going through those type of challenges.
Well, truthfully, Victor, actually, annually, this is a problem. 2020, this is even a bigger problem, of course, because when they talk about mental health, they talk about thoughts, feelings, and moods. And those thoughts, feelings, and moods are what they call a brain disorder. Doesn't mean that you have to be schizophrenic. You could just be depressed. And that's still yet a brain disorder. And the things that impact those are isolating, lack of social activities, and overwhelmed. Does that sound familiar to you? So the reason this is a challenging time of the year, you're dealing with mental health, you're dealing with substance misuse, disputes, you're dealing with grief, and a myriad of other things. We know Uncle Charlie's going to show up to Thanksgiving drunk. Last year, little Johnny broke in while everybody was at Thanksgiving and took Aunt Ethel's toys from under the Christmas tree. And it's the year that Big Mama died back in 2019, and it's always a reminder of sadness. So then you're going to add to that COVID fatigue, and we all know what fatigue is. We've been through the COVID. That has now turned into, however, COVID crisis. And the crisis has become political. It's become about social injustice. It's become to wear a mask or not to mask. And everybody's got an opinion. And we got people going off at the grocery store and at the restaurants and all sorts of other things that keep us imbalanced with our brain disorder, because we're not experiencing a normal, joyful time of the year. The songs don't even sound as good as they used to. So all of that impacts what we call the season to be jolly. But we've got to be careful.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's deep. That's deep right there. And so Why is it that your organization is a good, outlet for people to reach out to? I mean, I know you plug in with some other folks, so how would CRCC be a great, entity for people to reach out to right now during those times?
Well, one of the things that we do is we partnership or collaborate with worldwide resources. So I've got a team of content experts literally on any subject: business consultants, personal and business coaches, health consultants, parental support, tools and resources for all sorts of social media and enterprises, grant writing, community activists. I even have a young lady that specializes. We've all heard of kingdom building. Mm-hmm. She talks about kingdom business. She says there's a lot of people that are struggling because of loss of jobs, because of marital problems, all sorts of complications and life problems. And what she does is she talks to them about kingdom and business building, kingdom business. She's saying all you need is a Social Security and a driver's license, and the job that you thought you missed is going to be replaced by something far greater. We've got people that will give you like-kind donations. I have a bartering system. So you may not have any money, but you are very good at marketing and design, digital design. And somebody else is good at carpentry work. Well, guess what? You can trade your carpentry work for marketing. So the registration is free for Kingdom Business. You can monetize your vision. You can be a business owner, create a rebuild. You need an education. They've got $500 billion in held assets. Have grant writing resources. Just about anything that you want to do to impact your life or to address any debilitating life conditions. We have the people that do it. Again, because I don't do the work, I introduce to the people that do. And we know that all things work for good. Didn't say it's going to be good. We already know the battle's won. It's not going to last forever. And we understand that we can do whatever we set out to do because we have not, because we're not asking. So what I've been able to do is to trust, watch God work, and watch the people, because people innately are good. It's not, they don't have negative plans for anybody's life. They all want to help. What gets us in trouble, and this is one thing I get around, is that we're not in competition. We have to learn about collaboration and partnership.
Yes.
Through collaboration and partnership, we win.
Yes.
And that's what Community Care Resource Council, frankly, is all about. I started building a network in 2018, and 5 months later, I was called together with Jerome Adams, who is he's a black guy. He's the Surgeon General of the United States of America. They invited the 30 most influential people in Dallas to meet with him in a roundtable, how we can help our community. I had been doing this while working the furniture business for 18 years. I had locked the door and walked off, and I went to a place that I was going to be shown. Didn't know where I was going. February 18th, 2018, that summer, 5 months later, I was recognized and acknowledged as one of the 30 most influential community activists in all of Dallas-Fort Worth. Got nothing to do with me. Now, no, that ain't got nothing to do with me. But that's what's there. And it's only because we hunger for each other. We hunger for help. And we have to take a risk. If you don't have anything, what can you lose by sharing it with somebody else?
Absolutely.
That's wonderful, Karl. I love that.
Yeah. I love it. That is you are the answer. Like, not just for the Dallas-Fort Worth area, not just for Kansas, but that's the answer in general. We have what each other needs. We just need to know how to be connected with one another and realize we're not in competition. Yes.
Let me tell you what you just said. I have a health care professional. His name is Mr. Gupta. He's in Bangladesh. I have a guy that helps kids quit procrastinating from 12 to 18 years old. He's in Africa. I've got people around the world. I just did an event. It was a 72-hour virtual event. It was live around the clock in 139 different countries.
Wow.
And that was centered around substance misuse. But here, what happens? You're able to leverage relationships into other areas of proficiency. Because all of these people, they understand and they overcame drug abuse. That's what there was a program about that. But guess what? Those same people are now doing the same thing I'm doing in Singapore, in Portugal, in Brazil, in Russia, in Australia. And so, like I said, we had 1,700 participants around the clock for 72 hours from the 30th of October to November 1st.
Wow.
And all of these people are part of the activities. We've got an event coming up, shameless plug, January 16th. It's called Village Focus. It's going to be about kids. I've got one person that teaches about etiquette. I got Mr. Gupta is going to teach us about healthcare. I've got an organization called Heroes, Cops, and Kids. They have these elaborate, many of the costumes cost upward of $2,000. They'll have Batman, the Incredible Hulk, and Wonder Woman come and they'll lecture kids and tell them how to act when they get stopped by the police. They'll also go to the police and tell them how to act when you stop a car that's got kids in it. And so all of these people are coming together and they are preparing the community. My mantra is impact, inspire, and inform. So we want to inform the kids. We want to inform the parents. A lot of people don't know it, but the way you eat determines your mental health.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Sir. Yes, sir.
You can affect your mental health just by diet and exercise. Gupta is, I don't know, what do you call that? Nam Ya Home Rainbow, whatever that is. he does that kind of stuff too. But that's all we do. If you are looking for something, if you got an idea, if you got a plan, if you got a dream, this is what we do. We help make dreams come true. Not me, but I needed a guy to have a pallet jack. He was got a church of 50 people. They're giving away 10,000 pounds of food a month. They had to unload the 18-wheeler, 2 of them a month by hand, carry it across the street, stack it 4 feet wide and 6 feet high. They needed a pallet jack. So I got on my spider web and I went, and guess what? 3 days later, we had a pallet jack, $1,800 in cost. The guy said he'd been wanting to give something to help people. So he gave it to him for $200.
Wow.
So
That's
Karl,
awesome.
man, I gotta say this, man. You are definitely somebody I'm highly impressed with. I really appreciate the service you put out there because, one thing that I've learned through coaching, and we have unconscious needs. Like a lot of times we don't even know what we need. But you mentioned something seconds ago. You went to your spider web, which I assume is your network of a wide web of people in various industries and whatever that can help people in things that they don't necessarily even know that they need all the time. Or they may come to you for one thing and you have the resources through your team and your network and your spider web to help them with other resources, which is absolutely phenomenal. And you're absolutely right. We've got to stop looking at people as competition all the time. These are people, I'm good at one thing, Laquita's good at another thing, you're good at another thing, and who knows, together we become this very powerful conglomerate or can at least get through a project together. So I really love that you're pushing that, and I'm sure that your team understands the value of that spider web. So that also means that there's got to be some hospitality and some respect mutually between you and all these people on the spider web. You're not going to be able to send somebody to a resource that you have and you had a bad encounter with them. They're not going to want to, bother you or help the person you referred to them. So that goes back to the whole hospitality aspect of it. So I just love and applaud what you're doing, man. This is awesome. I'm fascinated.
Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
thank you.
What I want to do real quick, Mr. Berry, is if you could give me the name of the event that's taking place on the 16th again, so that I can put that.
It'll be at 9:30 in the morning, January 16th. It's just going to be a Zoom event. And it's called Village Focus. And that's a takeoff on that takes a village to raise a kid. The song says, I believe children are our future. Scripture says, and a child shall lead them. And so what we're doing is, if we're going to change what's going on in the world, we're going to have to change the children.
Yes.
We're going to have to impact the children. We've got another person on that focus that's dealing with a very huge issue, and that's abandonment and foster care. Children get liberated, as they call it, from poor parents, granted, yes. And this child has been traumatized because they lost the only mama they knew. The judge says, mama can't have me no more. But what do? They send that child that lives off of I-75 in Pleasant Grove to Waco, Texas, because there's nobody here that can take them because the relatives' house is not nice enough, the furniture is not nice enough, the income's not good enough. And so they not only leave the only family linkages that they know, they also end up losing all their school friends. And they send them to Waco, Texas. Three times traumatized. And so there's a website called Care Portal. And what they do is they are operating out of 6 inner city school systems in Dallas. And what they do is they will send clergy for court. They'll send a pastor to church to represent the child, guardian ad litem. And then they also provide counsel for the parent that's about to lose that child. And so they call clergy in court. If those kids come to school 3 days in a row with the same clothes on, or they don't smell too good, or they're not acting too good, they've got 6 people on call every day that go up to 5 different schools to minister to these children. So again, Ms. Monley, that is Village Focus. I'm just really touching on there are going to be 6 people, and all you got to do is stay tuned to a channel near you. We're going to be doing 15-second sneak previews, 25 of them between now and Christmas, just to let the people that are presenting explain to you what they're doing. They will get 50 free masks. They will get free ink pens if they need some. And the event is free for anybody that wants to know, how can I help my child? How can I help my child get a better understanding? How can I help them to understand? And it's not going to be popular. Now, one of the things Batman tells him when he talks to him, he has on his Batman outfit. And Batman says, I know you guys are here about driving while black. And said, that's true. But if you're going 60 in a 40, you're not driving while black. You were stopped while speeding.
Yes.
And he tells them that. And then he goes into the training academies and tells the police officers, says, you guys need to understand when you stop black and brown kids, there's a whole different perspective than you do when you stop somebody that's in a nuclear household that doesn't have the financial restraints and other things that hold people back. So they go both sides of the coin, and they say things that are unpopular to their audiences. But what they're talking about, and my friend that talks about etiquette says that's etiquette. Etiquette's not knife and forks and spoons. Etiquette is how do you act when you're being bullied. Etiquette is how do you act when you're given a homework assignment. And then my wife was teaching the grandkids, and he asked her, he says, well, it's Thanksgiving this week. Do we have to do homework this week? He's 4 weeks behind. And he wants to know, do I have to do homework this week or can I start when I get back? And so, yeah, these are the kind of things that we talk about. And it goes on and on and on. In fact, whatever, Victor, Laquita, whatever your audience wants more of, or they want something on a particular topic, all we have to do is but ask.
So with your company and your ability to bridge people together, is that strictly for the Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, all that area there, or is it nationwide?
It's worldwide.
It's worldwide.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've got, I'm focusing on a smaller footprint in Dallas only because my spider web is pretty tight in Dallas, Fort Worth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've got Region 6 of the Department of Health and Human Services. You're only supposed to have one liaison. I've got 3 with Region 6 alone. I just did an event in July called Black Pandemic. And what we're talking about is that we're not just dealing with the pandemic, but we're dealing with HIV in the Black community is huge.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And they call on me because I have marketing people. The government doesn't have a lot of money. A lot of people think they do, but they don't. Because they do, they're not giving it to their employees. So what do? They call me and ask me to put together a flyer, put together a media campaign. In fact, they were so happy with the last event. There were 11 presenters. I was the only civilian out of 11 people that spoke. They asked me to speak. I didn't have a uniform. And I know that partially because I put it together. I drew in less than 30 days, 238 people that attended the event. And they were able to give away 5,000 masks and 5,000 pounds of hand sanitizer to the inner city community in Fort Worth.
Wow.
And so, whatever comes
forward. Like a walking Jesus out here, man. What's going on, man?
No, but I know him.
All he had was reach in his pocket and he got something when he pulling it out. But that was something else that you said that like really just touched me about the ministers and pastors that are able to be the advocates and be there for the children that are being put into foster care, as well as for the parent that had the child removed from them. If you could, please let us know the name of that organization again. I want to put that information out to the chat so that our viewers can watch it. And the second part to this is that only, again, exclusive to that Dallas-Fort Worth area, or is that a program that, again, that is either nationwide or worldwide?
It's in 28 states in the United States right now.
Okay.
And they operate on a website called Care Portal, CARE.portal. And what they will do, you'll find very interesting, Laquita.
Mm-hmm.
Grandma's in Pleasant Grove, but her roof is falling down and she has no good income and she doesn't have any furniture. Well, they have a deal with Ashley Furniture that they'll give them furniture. They have relationships with other churches. And so those churches contribute money. They fix her house. So now that kid that was on his way to Waco gets to stay with grandma and the cousins locally, because people don't understand foster care and adoption is a pathway to prison. What happens to a 16-year-old? They get moved in the middle of their junior year, and they only got 18 months before they're kicked out of foster care. What happens? They don't even bring them back to Dallas. They said it's April the 16th. You got to go. They may give them a backpack. They walk out the front door and they look around. Okay, now what do I do? Well, there are organizations that actually will buy them an apartment, pay for their books, and pay for their schooling for college. But if you didn't know about that, you couldn't get the help.
Right.
And this is stuff I didn't know about. This so happens that things just happen to appear in a timely manner as we go around building this spider web. I'm sure there's a lot of spiders out there watching right now.
Absolutely.
That thing, I need to tell him about this.
Mhm.
And here's what's really funny. And it's not funny, it's very encouraging. There are a lot of people, we know that this Black Lives Matter and the opposing forces to that have their own opinions and their own arguments, but there are some people being won over. One of the churches that has joined our midst, who's now actually a member of CCRC board, is the richest Southern Baptist church in the country. It's called Prestonwood Baptist. And this guy, along with two other people, this other guy's got so much money, he races cars around the world for a hobby. And he says, Karl, I need to tell you, I'm so ashamed of myself. Says, I am a product of white privilege. What can I do? There are people out here that are wanting to help. So just because they look like a certain way or they say a certain thing on their T-shirts, we need to be very careful. That was Victor's comment to me. I need to be careful what I think about people and what I say to people, because generalizations go out the window. It's only counts is who you're talking to and how they feel or think. So there are people out here that want to help, that want to belong, that want to contribute. We just got to look for them. And so we need to be very careful about, who we talk about. Everybody that's got a big mega church didn't make their money from the church.
Come on now.
The mega church preachers around the country that were professional athletes, they made their money playing baseball.
There you go. A lot of pastors
and they simply driving this convertible BMW that they're spending up everybody's money. No, they're spending up their money.
No, their own money.
Yeah, exactly. So you mentioned that. So what about those spiders out there that do want to help, that want to contribute? Where do they reach out to you at, Karl? Is that through the same website, or you have another email or something you want to share?
Well, I have an 800 number. It's 469-661 CCRC. That's 2272. 469-661 2272. 469-661-2272. That number follows me around. Goes directly from my desk. If I'm not at the desk, it goes to my cell phone. And then they can find us. If they go to that website, there are some funnels in there where they can let me know if I need help or I want to give help. There are two different funnels. One for people that want to volunteer to help others. And there's another funnel on www.ccrchelp.com for people that need help. We have gotten, I think the current count is 87 people into treatment since April.
Wow.
With no money. They didn't have money to pay $10,000 a year to go into treatment. But there are resources out there. We know where those resources are. And if you're serious, we'll get you into treatment. If you're not serious, please don't call. I don't have time.
I know that's right. So let me ask you this, Karl, because I know there are people that are wanting to help a loved one, maybe a significant other, a child, a parent, a sibling. And, the person that's going through that addiction or that trauma may not want to step forward, And I remember a time where I was dealing with somebody this many years ago, but I was in a relationship with somebody who was an addict, strong addict, and I thought I could turn her around and all this stuff. That's a whole nother story for another show. But they would not let me bring her to the organization because they wanted her to take the first step. And I'm just wondering if there's somebody who wants to bring somebody who needs help, can they still be supported, or what does that look like? I don't even really know the question, but if I'm trying to help somebody who has that addiction, how is this organization able to help?
This is going to be a very surprising and resounding no. You can't help those people. They say you can pray on them, you can put oil on their head, you can do anything you want to, but until they're ready to get help, they can't get help. But here's what they can do. Here's what most people don't know. People think if little Johnny would just get some help, everything would be all right. No, if you would stop helping little Johnny, everything's going to be all right.
Right. Yeah.
The more you change,
Mm-hmm.
the more people around you change.
Yeah.
So when of those 80 some odd people that I helped, there were probably 300 of addicts that are now not having support that they used to have. Some of the parents used to give them money to go buy drugs, and if they just stay home, they would be happy. Well, that's getting in God's way.
Yeah.
Some people want to go bound them out of jail. Well, they might be in jail for a reason. My understanding that there are consequences, and sometimes you got to experience the consequences in order to change. But the point I'm trying to make is the more you change, the more people around you change. Somebody hauls off and tries to hit you. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And so what I do is I counsel people that have loved ones and help them to stop making the mistakes that keeps their loved ones in bondage.
That was going to be my next question.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Have you found that it was more difficult to deal with the loved one of the person that had the addiction, or was it harder dealing with the person that actually had the illness?
Well, if I was doing this for money, it would be a challenge. But like I told you, I just help people. I have organizations, they're called codependent organizations. I have enablers organizations. So I tell people the cold and hard truth. Why? Because they're not going to give me any money anyway. I'm not asking for any. So I'm going to tell them the truth because, see, as a mid-level manager, they taught me a skill. Sometimes you have to help Laquita's people see. It's an acronym, stands for a significant emotional event. So that means what you got to do is, if you can't get them with loves and smiles and warm and hugs and fuzzy feelings, you make them mad. You help them see that you're the problem.
Yeah.
He's still doing dope because you're still bailing him out.
Yeah.
You're giving him money to pay the rent. Now all you're doing is buying drugs.
Come on, sir.
You're buying drugs. You're not paying rent. You give them money to pay the rent, but unless you're taking the money to the rental office, you're buying drugs. And even if you are taking money to the rental office, they probably figure they can get you to do it. They didn't spend that rent money yesterday. And so what we've got to understand is that it's up to us to contribute and not support the drug habit, but to contribute to what takes to overcome it. And most of the 80-some people that I got into treatment, we got into treatment, they got into there because they had counseling with their parents, with their loved ones. I've got one right now, 13-year-old. Don't have a problem, incorrigible. And they're wanting to, we're going to fix this. No, you're not. You're going to fix you. You've got to deal with your own demons so that you can help them. Because once we learn how not to coddle people that have an issue, and it's not just drugs, it's mental health too. It's the same thing. We've got to learn how to be honest with people, but we don't have to be confrontive. With mental health is very dangerous because you don't want to disagree with them. You don't want to tell them you are not married to her anymore. She doesn't live with you anymore. She's living with her new husband. You're causing a problem. That's a disagreement. They can never do it. What you have to do is you have to agree with them. Just think about this. If somebody has a mental disorder, why would you not understand that you can psych somebody with a mental disorder out? You can, well, I know what you think, and I hate to say this, but if you go back over there, the neighbors are going to call the police, and they're going to put you in jail because you've been going over there for 10 years. Probably been married for 10 years, but you got to help them understand that this is what you're up against. Do you want to go somewhere that might help you, or do you want to go to jail over the weekend? So
wow. This is beautiful. Thank you for sharing this, Karl. I mean, you're absolutely right. And I think many of us have enabled somebody else. And like you said, it's not just drugs, or it could be, with their finances. I deal with people with their credit. You can't fix your credit till you're ready to have better credit, and the benefits of that. And so I totally appreciate you sharing this, man, because it's an eye opener. Many of us want to help others, but you can't help them by supporting that same habit. You know what I'm saying? Man, this is, woo, you preaching, brother.
I mean, that, like you said, Vic, that goes across the board, whether it's credit or, having this conversation with someone this weekend. It's like, it's a thing we had, in poor communities. I got my bill and I didn't pay it, so let me put that bill in somebody else's name. Well, the answer is no. Well, and then you get that comeback. I just want you to help me. No, you're not. I'm not helping you. You didn't pay that the first time and it was in your name. You're not going to pay it when it's in someone else's name. So I'm not going to allow you to hurt this kid or this other person because you're irresponsible. And it's just what you're saying, Mr. Berry. When we're loving our loved ones, giving them that tough love where we have that anointed no will help them get to where they need to be quicker. Because, even if they don't get there, it wasn't because you didn't help them. It wasn't because you didn't help them. It wasn't because I didn't give you the $50. I didn't pay your rent. I didn't pay your water bill. I didn't pay your light bill because you used it on drugs or you spent it gambling or you went on a shopping spree. However you mismanaged your money or misused what you had, it's not my fault. And the fact that I didn't bail you out doesn't mean I didn't help you.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. We're going to drop your contact in again for sure, because there's so many people that need this information. Absolutely. And people visit our timeline after the event. So we want to make sure they can reach out to you. So you mentioned the site is www.ccrchelp.com. And we want folks to reach out to you. Everything from, I'm on your site now, behavioral health, addiction recovery, community events, impactful resources. As I look through this, Karl, what would you say is the biggest percentage? What's the biggest thing you guys help with? Is it the addiction? Is it some other resources? Is there a particular thing that you help most with?
Well, interactive platform is mental health, addiction, children, and homelessness. You can just think about it a second. You see how those interact with each other?
Yeah.
The government only wants to give you money to deal with one platform.
Yeah.
But because of what I do, I interact and I work with all four platforms, and I actually help somebody get money for children. I get somebody else get some money for mental health. I have somebody else get some money. Most people don't realize this, but do you realize that drugs cause mental health? Now that they have created legal marijuana, what they use to cure some of these strains of marijuana are what causes mental health, because your brain is the biggest chemical manufacturer that exists. And so, there are two bigger addictions on the horizon right now. One of them is sex. Sex is up 3,000% since March. The other one, you guess what the other one is? What do you think the biggest addiction is right now?
I would say alcohol, maybe. I don't know.
The phone.
Cell phone. Yeah.
Virtual addiction. Right now, there are people that are formulating and creating grants, and they're going after Samsung and AT&T and all these people. Have you ever told yourself, I'm going to leave my phone in the car? Why? Why do you have to leave your phone in the car? Have you ever sat up in a restaurant with your loved one and both of you are on your phone? Have you ever sat in front of the TV and neither one of you are watching the show because you're on your telephone?
Yeah.
Virtual addiction has gone crazy. And it's not just the kids.
Yeah.
It's the adults too.
Yeah.
And so all of those are kind of akin to my major platform. But back to your main question, my biggest platform is the interactivity of mental health, substance misuse, homelessness, and children. Right now, 36% of the people homeless are 19 years of age or under.
Wow.
Now, here's a shocking deal. 48% of those 36% are kids that have been put out of their parents' home because of their sexual orientation.
Wow.
50% of teenagers consider suicide if they have a same-sex orientation. And I'm not standing up for or against same-sex orientation. What I'm standing up is common human nature.
Right.
Again, we can't make people live like we want them to live.
Right.
But we do need to learn how to love them like they should be loved.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
Wow.
No, a friend of mine, he works, well, at that time, I'm not sure if he still works for them now, but he is gay and he's out of Florida, and we met through our real estate investing, and he has a nonprofit down in Florida for that very reason. LGBTQ plus children who have been abandoned by their families, kicked out, and whatever, circumstance it was, that they are now homeless. And he has a nonprofit organization that now provides them with a place to live and other things so that they can feel they can be loved the way that they were supposed to be loved. And that's actually a very big gap, I would say, in the body of Christ. Yes, we don't condone those things because it's against scripture, but we are to love everyone. And what you said at the top of the broadcast, if I cannot show you the love of Christ through my actions, why will you ever listen to anything that I have to say out of my mouth?
Yeah.
Amen.
That's powerful. My mom says that all the time, is love is an action word.
It is an
action word.
Absolutely.
We got to be able to show people love, even if they don't do things that we like or love. We still got to be able to show love. That's what we're here for, to serve others. And so you are truly, Karl Berry, serving others in
Absolutely.
a major way, in a massive way. And so again, I just want to make sure people are clear. Your services go far beyond Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. You support folks globally, and you have all kind of events. If they want to find out more about the event in January, I suppose if they can get on your contact list or your website, they'll be able to receive
info. We've got a
or...
Facebook page, CCRC. It's got a Facebook page.
Okay.
We do have actually two different websites, a website and a landing page. And that event you will be seeing on Facebook site starting in December, tomorrow, where we'll have sneak previews. One of the ladies that's doing it is a lady that had 28 eye surgeries from the time she was 5 until she was 19 years old. She's now blind in one eye. She has a nonprofit called Leah's Kids. What she does is teach kids that their disabilities are a blessing.
Yeah.
And she just gave a little boy about a month ago $5,000. He could go do whatever he wanted to buy toys. But all she does is go out, and she's going to be actually on that event, Village Focus. It's going to be centered around kids, about health, about etiquette, about social injustice. We will have some feeding. We will have some homeless people there too. So just kind of keep your eye open and look for the CCRC. It's got a big what do you call it in the harbor where you got the searchlight? So a big searchlight in the middle of
Okay. Good stuff. Okay, so our program is called Create Your Future Self Live. Mr. Berry, where do you see your future self in, 3, 5, 10 years from now?
I've got my eye on a hospital in Waco, Texas. Baylor Hospital partnered with Baylor Scott & White.
Yes, it did.
And they gave this hospital away, but the hospital is an albatross around the neck of the city because nobody's buying it. They put it on the tax rolls, they can't buy it. We want to move the entire council into that building. It's a huge facility. And that's our 5-year plan, to bring our counselors in there. And by then we'll be ramping up to I didn't even touch on this reentry. We're getting we've got a lady right now working with us that's getting the question taken off the job application. It's going to be illegal in the state of Texas to ask, have you ever been convicted of a felony? It's going to be against the law.
Good job. Good job. Good job.
You know who was the best employee? Somebody that got out and got a job somewhere other than McDonald's. Them people,
somebody that's been given a second chance in life.
That really get a chance.
Yeah.
These people are hungry. But then what we got to do too, we got to scoot over when they come in church and sit next to them.
That's right, sir. That's right. I mean,
you were saying we don't want to be around them because they're homeless, or we don't want to be around them because they've been to jail. So I don't know about y'all, but I should have been to jail a bunch of times in my life. Yeah, I was an athlete.
For sure.
I had all these other accolades, but I didn't tell it. I didn't advertise the stuff I did. Because I don't know if the statute of limitations says
right. Listen, you were saying about that foster care system being an avenue to jail for those kids. So is that question on the application. If I've just gotten out of jail, I've served my time, and I've made up my mind to do right and be a productive citizen, not only should I have the right to vote, because those things are going to impact me, right? I should also have the right to be able to get gainful employment, because if I can't get gainful employment, what is a person going to do? They're not just going to lie down in the street and die. They're going to recycle and do what they know to do in order to provide themselves with food, clothing, and shelter. So if you won't hire me because I'm a felon, but you're yelling at me about being a productive citizen, but you won't hire me, so then you're mad because I'm selling drugs. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You cannot have your cake and eat it too. Yeah,
this is good stuff. This is awesome.
That's a beautiful thing.
So we've spent a good 52 minutes here discussing ways that CRCC is able to help folks out there. Is there something that we can do for you, Mr. Berry? I mean, Laquita and I, we're both entrepreneurs. We're both, out here doing things to help people. Is there anything that you're missing or something that we can help you with?
Absolutely.
Just your support and your making people aware of Community Care Resource Council today is huge. Now, I've already got a couple of people headed your way. In fact, I think Victor, I don't know if you guys have spoken to each other, but I sent out a invitation. One of my guys from the Fed, he's actually a commander with the FDA, is wanting to get into real estate. And I told him, I said, well, I know this guy and this gal. They don't want to be. And so, what one hand washes the other.
Absolutely.
I'll tell your story and carry your burden, and you do mine.
Absolutely. That's what we're here for, to help each other and serve.
That's a kingdom business. It's a kingdom business that we're in. I'm not doing what I do for money. And will I take some money one day? Yeah, I think I might. I'd like to. But I don't really care if I don't either. But if I can just see more Monleys and Victor Johnsons out on the planet, I'll be happy, because you guys are making a substantial contribution to Dallas-Fort Worth. I've been watching you guys. I've been listening. I catch tidbits of your programs when I can. My days are crazy. I always got.
We appreciate that.
I tip my hat. If I had one, I'd tip my hat right now to both of you, because what you're doing is the same food that I eat. I believe on service. I believe in a platform that's designed to help others. You keep what you got by giving it away.
That's it. That is absolutely. It's got to circulate. It's got to circulate, baby. That's a good thing. So, again, we want to make sure that people reach out to you if they need to call. We've got your number in here, 469-551-2272. We've also got the Facebook link.
I'm sorry. That's a 6. I'm typing in the dark. So it's 469-661-2272. Forgive me.
No problem. Glad we stated that. Thank you, sir.
I am too.
And then definitely they can visit your website, www.ccrchelp.com. Please, folks, support, get involved. You know, if you are somebody that's looking to help the community, it doesn't matter if you live in or outside of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. This is a global outreach organization. They're helping folks. And you've already heard through this broadcast, it doesn't have to be your typical run-of-the-mill things that people normally would run to. I mean, there's a lot of services that we don't think about a lot of times. And this is a very unique time in our life, in our world, in our history. And it's okay. Reach out to somebody, even if it's not this organization or us. You know, don't be ashamed to talk to somebody if you're going through anything. These are tough times, and you might be surprised that you talking to somebody might incite somebody else to share what they're feeling and get them over that hump as well. So thank you so much, Karl Berry, for joining us today and sharing your great resources with this community and with this world. And again, if it's anything we can do to help, we want to be able to be that beacon to help you with that as well. So thank you so much, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
It will be, and like Vic said, it will be absolutely our pleasure to be able to be helpful with your organization or in your organization. If some of your people have some things, we have some things that they could use to build themselves and create their future self. Like the show is all about helping individuals to create their future selves. So we appreciate you being a guest on today. Thank you so much for our audience there across Facebook, YouTube, Twitter as well. Thank you so much for you guys out there for Periscope. Continue to like and share this broadcast on whichever social media platform that you're on. Get out there and start your watch party. Share this information. Mr. Berry and his organization, CCRC, it's a fabulous organization. It's a global organization, and it's all about helping people to become a better them, whether it's in their business or in their personal lives. Reach out to Mr. Berry. You'll see his number there in the comment section on this broadcast. Please excuse the first few numbers. They were inaccurate, but the correct number is 469-661-2272. That is how you can reach out to Mr. Berry and his organization. We also have the Facebook link there for you in the comment section as well as the website. You know, go ahead, share this information as much as possible. And Mr. Berry, again, thank you so much for being an amazing guest today. We do have several comments there that we didn't get a chance to get to, Vic. But Mr. Berry, if you could go out to the website, you'll see those comments. Back to this Facebook page, you'll see those comments. Feel free to share them, comment with them. We'll be commenting to the comments tonight and throughout the rest of the week. But again, we appreciate our Create Your Future Self audience this evening.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Berry, this has been a pleasure, sir. Thank you so much. Virtual hugs for sure. You know what I'm saying? And again, we'll be talking very, very soon, sir. I appreciate you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Guys,
so
have a
very
good
much.
evening.
God bless.
Thank you.